Hi guys, it's Cassidy Gard and welcome to Cassidy Cast. Allison McNamara is sitting next to me. Honestly, I've been following you for years.
Well, we met on Facebook, I feel like.
Well, I friended you.
I accepted.
You had no idea who I was, but you accepted it, which was really nice.
I saw you were a host.
I just love the fact that you're another woman in LA creating content, blogging, hosting.
Hosting. I know, hosting's crazy. You know, I think, have you always wanted to be a host?
You know what? In the beginning, I wanted to be an actress. I have this major issue with instant gratification, and the turnaround time on hosting is so short.
Yeah.
I would go host, and then within a day, I get the interview. With acting, I would do it, and then 6 months later, be begging for the footage. So
yeah, you're right.
That's why I just liked the quickness of it.
Totally.
How about you? What made you want to do hosting?
I've wanted to host since I was 5.
I love
Like,
that.
I always wanted to be like a TV anchor. I didn't know it was called hosting at the time. I knew I wanted to do that, but I wasn't sure like if I was going to do something more in the hard news or entertainment news. And you obviously, I think, we kind of talked about this earlier, but like we all wanted to be Juliana Rancic or Ryan Seacrest or have our own production company. I tried to do the exact same thing. So I got a bunch of internships. I worked at E! I worked at MTV and talent and casting. I worked at Rebecca Taylor.
This is actually Rebecca Taylor.
I could tell.
From Crossroads.
I can tell. It actually may have been mine, to be honest.
Seriously, have you had this? How did you land at Pop Sugar?
Oh my God.
Take us to the beginning.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So, you know, when we graduated, it's kind of like the height of the recession. Okay, and there were not a lot of jobs. I moved back to my parents' house. I interned at a place called Who What Where, which is huge now. It wasn't as big.
Isn't that insane that like back then you probably had no idea?
No, like I've always loved fashion. That's kind of like my MO, but interned at Who What Where, and the owners, Catherine Power and Hillary Kerr, are amazing. They own Click Media now. They're like mega bosses. They've written like 1 billion books. They gave me my first hosting job. It was called Real Girls, Real Style. It was a mini series.
Is that still on YouTube? Like,
yeah, so you can go watch it.
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, like you can go watch Real Girls, Real Style on Who What Where. That was a branded content, which it was the beginning of branded content.
You really were kind of like, to me, one of the first couple of people starting to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't one of the first bloggers, but I definitely feel like I was one of the first like style video people. Somehow I went into this, casting for Fab TV, ended up being Pop Sugar, and I did know what Pop Sugar was at the time. Went in for like so many interviews, you guys. It was the most intense interview process, and I was young. I was 22, so I hadn't done anything like it, but I had to write a bunch of stories. I had to do a bunch of like tapes.
Is it crazy that you were there when they were building into the platform?
They didn't have a YouTube channel when I started. It was crazy because Pop Sugar they bought this like studio, which is how it was called Shopflick Studios. And so they bought it, and I kind of joined right when they bought it as Pop Sugar Studios. Yeah, I was the first LA person they really hired full time to do video, and that kind of parlayed itself into a live digital show, which became a television show, which I got to host with Shanae Grimes Beach from 90210.
Yes,
she was awesome, and Becca Frucht, and we did that, and that was kind of like the OMG moment. And then when that stopped, that's kind of when I reevaluated, like, what do I want to do? And I really wanted to get back into making really fun digital content.
Yeah.
And I decided to switch to Refinery 29, who I think is at the forefront of like making really cool content.
I know you have quite a few projects with Refinery.
Yes.
A couple are like still in the little special box that we can't talk about, which you'll find out later. But is there one that we can hear about? Okay.
So one that's coming out really soon. We're kind of playing with and debunking Pinterest trends. Like, I'm not a professional DIYer, baker, beauty person. I'm not any of these things, right? But I do love Pinterest, and I love trying to be crafty. So it's a real person trying to do things that we see on Pinterest all the time, and kind of like the whole point of the show is like, can it be done? And you know what, sometimes it just can't be done.
Including the blog and your amazing video segments, you're also hosting a lot outside of like just the blog. You did the Oscars red carpet, which was not the first time you had done that.
No, that was for ABC, and I've done the Oscars 3 or 4 times, but I've done ABC twice now.
I felt like I was there with you because of Snapchat. Part of the thing that I think is fun to highlight is, especially people in advertising and the social media world, the way that it's sort of propelled forward. You were in Orlando hosting convention.
That was the craziest thing I've ever done in my entire life. ABC, I think like 3 million people watched it or whatever, which is a lot of people, but you don't see them.
How do you say that so nonchalantly?
Okay, but like, here's the thing. You don't see them, right, when you are doing your camera stuff. Like, you're live, you just see the camera, you see your producers, you see your co-host, right? But the Ulta convention, it was 2,600 people live, like in front of them, and I've never spoken in front of that many people. To see that many faces.
And also you're on Today Show.
Yes, that was
so crazy.
That was crazy. That was through Pop Sugar, which was amazing. I had never been on the Today Show before.
But that was
cool. It was really cool. But it's hard. You have to like, especially being busy and having real jobs too. And you know, blogging is a real job, but that's kind of like my side job that kind of complements my actual job as a host.
Yes.
And so I have to find the time. Like after this, I'm going to shoot with my photographer, and I've got to, you know, plan out. I usually do 4 outfits at a time because more than 4 outfits stresses me out.
So are you changing in the car?
Yes, but usually like I've kind of embraced shooting around my house now, because at first I was like, I want downtown photos, I want beach photos.
Everybody's like that in the beginning.
I know, and now I'm like, girl, let's just find like something cool that looks like artsy around the house. You
posted something really funny on Instagram, which was a page out of my very own book, which is that you wrote that you were walking around the neighborhood scouting for cute
Yes. And then we talked about this actually, like you don't want the neighbors to come home while you're shooting in front of their house.
I really just like respect the way that females are creating their own jobs.
Yeah.
And there's so many stories in Los Angeles about women entertainment and how they're not paid enough and they don't get good roles. Have your own content and build your brand the way that you have, and especially inspiring to other people such as myself. Thank you guys so much for watching Cassidy Cass. I'm so honored to have Allison McNamara. I'm going to link all of her socials below because you have to follow her. Please hit thumbs up if you love this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this one. See you guys in the next one. Bye everyone!